Today we're looking at the archetype with the most broken flip effects of all time. We're taking a look at the Jar archetype used by Bakura from the original Yu-Gi-Oh! And yeah, these monsters are infamous for having the most broken and most powerful flip effects ever to exist. And most of these cards are actually still on the ban list due to how broken they are. And yeah, let's take a look, and yeah, it only consists of monster cards. So yeah, let's take a look. And their first monster is Ancient Jar, a level 1 with 400 attack and 200 defense, who is part of the archetype and is still not part of the TCG, and only ones being mentioned for like 3 seconds. So yeah, their next actual first monster is Morphing Jar. It's level 2 this time, also Earth, Rock with 700 attack and 600 defense. And it has a flip effect that both players discard as many cards as possible from their hand, and each player draws 5 cards. So yes, this used to be a banned card for quite a few years until it was very recently put onto the limited list. So yeah, this effect is still powerful even today, since most decks tend to empty out their hands very quickly. So yeah, flipping this usually results in no discards and just flat out drawing 5 cards. It's ridiculous. Much less ridiculous is Dimension Jar. This one's a level 2 Dark with 200 attack and defense, and a flip effect that allows both players to remove up to 3 cards from the 3 monsters from their opponent's graveyard from play. So not exactly the most optimal thing to run in your Jar deck, because again, you can disrupting graveyard setup is nothing to scoff at, but you're also letting your opponent remove up to 3 monsters from your graveyard. So yeah, the most ideal way you'll be pulling this effect off if you have no monsters in your graveyard, which is when you'll be activating the card as turbo as possible, which is not usually the most possible thing to do with jars in early game. So yeah, not recommended. Next up we have Cobra Jar. This one's a level 2 with a 600 attack and 300 defense, also on Earth, like the Morphing Jar. And it has a flip effect to special summon a Poisonous Snake token, which is a reptile type Earth level 3, 1200 attack and 1200 defense. And when the Poisonous Snake token is destroyed as a result of a battle, inflict 500 damage to your opponent's life points. This is by the numbers completely useless. I mean, it can be used in some flip effect stall decks in order to like get some additional monsters in form of tokens, so the opponent is going to have to waste more attacks on destroying monsters, along with providing some minuscule burn damage. But other than that, there is absolutely no usage for this card. Their next monster is Absorbing Jar. This one's also a level 3, and it has the flip effect to destroy all set, spell, and trap cards on the field. Then each player draws 1 card for each of the cards they control that was destroyed by this effect. You cannot set any cards the turn you activate this effect. Okay, again, it's a bit of an outdated type of destruction, although you can get a pretty decent draw out of it back in the day, because this effect only works on set cards, set spell trap cards, which usually implies that you'll be destroying a whole lot of battle traps, and you're most likely gonna be destroying the opponent's stuff, so the opponent will be going into a very hard plus. The most ideal case I can imagine this being pulled off if you destroy the 3 of your own limiter overloads, so you can straight up special summon 3 speed warriors and going to a Link 4 monster, along with drawing 3 additional cards. But that's not the most consistent play out there, is it? Yeah, and as for mentioned, nowadays battle traps are not usually ran that often, so the most you're gonna get out of it is 1, maybe 2 destructions on your own side of the field or your opponent's. So yeah, this is not the most optimal thing to run. Alright, now we're getting into something interesting. Next up we have Dice Jar. It has the flip effect to allow both players to roll a 6-sided die. The player with the lowest result takes damage equal to their opponent's roll times 500. However, if the winner rolled a 6, the loser takes 6,000 damage. If the rolls are the same, both players roll again. So yeah, this is a notorious burn enabler again if you manage to win the dice roll. And yeah, you can potentially burn your opponent for 6,000 damage, which is, for a level 3 with 200 attack and 300 defense flip effect monster, a pretty decent amount of burn damage, am I right? So yeah, Dice Jar is, again, not directly supports the playstyle the original wave of jars is known for, but it certainly lives up to their name with a monster with the most most powerful flip effects in the game. So yeah. All right, now getting to the trio Fantastico, as I like to call them. First up, we have Cyber Jar. This one has the flip effect to destroy all monsters on the field. Then both players reveal the top 5 cards from their decks. Then special summon all revealed level 4 or lower monsters in face-up attack position or face-down defense position. Also add any remaining cards to their hand. If either player has less than 5 cards in their deck, reveal as many as possible. Yeah, it should come to no surprise as that this lovely piece of support here is banned for a very good reason. Not only do you get a complete board wipe of the entire field, but you also get to splash some new monsters onto the field. Same with your opponent, and not only that, the other excavated cards don't go to the graveyard. You get to add them to your hand. So it's basically free monster swarming, along with keeping anything that is not a monster or a level 5 or higher monster. You should, well, it's banned, but if you're playing casually, you usually tend to max out on this one, no question about it. Next up, we have Morphing Jar 2, a level 3 this time around, unlike the original. And this one allows you to, for the price of a flip effect, shuffle all monsters on the field into the deck. Then each player excavates cards from the top of their deck until they excavate the same number of monsters they shuffled into their main deck. Special summon all excavated level 4 or lower monsters in face down defense position. Also send the remaining cards to the graveyard. This one is also banned, but also it can be also very useful, just like the Cyber Jar, but it can also produce some massive illegal move loops involving cards such as Needleworm. So yeah, so Needleworm can infinitely keep getting back into the deck and keep flipping itself in order to mill 5 cards from the opponent's deck. So yeah, it can. And you can cancel out the loop by destroying Morphing Jar 2, which causes you to be able to end your turn. Then you pass to your opponent, and the opponent has no cards left to draw, and then they lose. It's banned for a reason, folks, and I'm not sure if it will ever come back. And last but not least, in the low level lineup, we have the Fiber Jar. For a flip effect, you can shuffle, each player can shuffle all cards from their hand, field, and graveyard into the deck, then draw 5 cards. This is this I think is the strongest flip effect I have ever seen. This amount of dual clearing in a simple flip effect is just flat out ridiculous. The only thing it misses is like resetting the player's life points to 8,000 to like completely remove any evidence that this duel ever happened. So yeah, it's gonna be this is an absolute god of flip effects monsters. So yeah, it is banned for a reason, and this one is definitely not coming back ever. And their last monster is Pot of the Forbidden. This one is a level 9 with 2000 attack and 3000 defense, and a flip effect that allows you to activate one of these 4 effects, and you can only activate one of these effects per turn. You can either draw 2 cards, you can either return all spell and trap cards on the field to the hand, you can either destroy all monsters your opponent controls, or you can look at your opponent's hand to shuffle one card from their hand into the deck. So yeah, this is basically the power of 3 banned cards and 1 limited card in one. Those being Pot of Greed, Giant Trunade, Raigeki, the Forceful Sentry. And yeah, that this is in regular jar decks it's not basically worth running because it's a level 9, and the jars have very minuscule ways of summoning this thing consistently. However, this is actually a 3-off staple in Prediction Princess builds because Prediction Princess Koinorma exists, and it can bring this thing out with absolutely no effort required. So yeah. Also, it's a 3000 defense wall, so we have some decent stats going on here. Now, this is going to be a bit of a trickier grading scale. Since they have access to a lot of consistency due to their insane amount of draw power they offer, especially Morphing Jar, the original Morphing Jar. But that monster is at 1. Their best play extenders are banned, so yeah, it's I would actually give it a 3 out of 3, but I'm actually inclined to give them a 1 out of 3 because they only have 1 monster available right now, and that monster is limited. Power is non-existent. All of their monsters have very low attack values. The highest among them is Pot of the Forbidden. It's a level 1, level 9 with 2000 attack only. So yeah, not the most optimal thing. So 1 out of 3 there. Comeback ability can exist again in form of Morphing Jar, but Morphing Jar is still limited. It's only 1 monster, 1 shot of getting back up. So yeah, 1 out of 3 there as well. Protection is, again, throughout all of their monsters, non-existent, really. There isn't a single card that helps out with protection. And as for the versatility, Pot of the Forbidden is a 3-off staple in Prediction Princesses, giving them a remarkable edge in basically every matchup. So I'm gonna be a bit generous and give them a 2 out of 3 there. So yeah, jars were an interesting batch of cards to come out of Yu-Gi-Oh! So yeah, I'm not sure if they'll get any more support, if some of their monsters will ever come off the ban list, but all we can do now is just wait and see. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more videos, and updates. Comment, like, and subscribe, and as usual, I'll upload the next vid whenever I can. See you all, have a good day, and peace.